Hi, this is Sarah from Made on the Comment, and in today's video I'm going to give you a quick overview of this new sales dashboard that I've created especially for Etsy sellers. So the dashboard is designed to give you a deep dive into your product sales. So it's not going to look at shipping costs or your profitability or what your Etsy fees are. This is purely looking at the products that you've sold, so what you've sold, when you sold it and who you sold it to. The version that we're looking at the moment is based primarily for UK Etsy sellers, and that's because it includes information on the country sold to and also a more detailed view of the UK product sales. But there will be other versions available if you're based in the US or Canada or any other country. I'll do a more generic one that's probably based for you. So the US and Canadian ones will look more at US based sales, so that will give you a breakdown by state and by Canadian province. But as I've said, this one should just give you a quick overview of how it works so you can see if it's something that you think you'd be interested in. If we haven't met before, hi, as I said, I'm Sarah. I'm the face behind Made on the Comment, where you'll find lots of spreadsheets and other tools that will help you simplify the numbers that you need to manage your online store. So let's look at the sales dashboard. So as I said, in this video, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of how it works and some of the information that you'll find in there. And then you'll also find more in-depth tutorials if you buy the template that will take you through exactly how to get your data out of Etsy, how to add it to the file, and also how to get your products set up so that you get a bit more meaningful information from the dashboard. So let's start by looking at how it works and how you get your data into the file. So all of the data comes from your Etsy order by item file, which you can download straight from Etsy, and you can either download it for a month, you can download a whole year at a time. So for this, I'd recommend going back a couple of years if you've got that data and just adding it all in. So you would add your data in here under sale date. There's a few formulas built into here, and that's it. Add your data, go to the next sheet, hit the two blue buttons, so refresh all data, and then refresh all reports, and you're pretty much ready to go. So when you first set up the file, what you'll probably find is you'll get a big long list of items in here. So this is everything that you've sold, and it will tell you the name and your listing ID and how much you've sold. And what this is useful for is there's actually a product setup sheet in here. Now you don't need to do this is optional, but I do think it helps you get some of the more meaningful reports out of here. And the reason for that is, well, there's two things you can do. The first is that you can assign every product to a type and a category. So these are completely flexible, completely customizable to your business. And it just gives you a view of how you want to view your data. So you set up these product types and categories on the Start Here page, and you can add as many as you like. I'd probably recommend limiting it to about 10 to 15 if you can. So in this demo file, we've kind of given things a type of product, so whether it's a digital download, a template, a planner, or something else. And then I've got categories set in here. So if you sold jewellery, you might want to put your types might be bracelets, necklaces, rings, that sort of thing. And then your category might be the type of metal you use or the type of jewels you've added. So you might want gold, silver, platinum, or emerald. If you sew clothes, you might want, I don't know, t-shirts, skirts, tops, something like that in there. And then maybe you have product ranges. So maybe you have a floral range or a, abstract range or something. So you just decide how it makes sense for you to look at your data, and you can change these later on. They're not cast in stone. So you would add them in here, and then when you go to your product setup, you would add all of your products in here. So this is just your Etsy listing title and your listing reference. You can give it a shorter name. So the problem with using these product names is that if you tweak your titles every so often, then this will keep changing, which makes it hard to kind of summarize your data across years because they might show up as different names every year. Your listing reference will always stay the same. So this is kind of the critical column. But then I would just give things a short name. So just something that you know what that product is. So it might be gold emerald ring or kind of pink floral t-shirt, something like that. So just that you know what it means. And it doesn't matter then what you call it on Etsy, how many characters you use. You've just got a nice short name that you can use. And then this is where you'd assign those categories that we set up earlier. So again, you just choose the drop down. So if you wanted that to be a template instead, you would change it in there. If that wasn't Instagram, if that was, I don't know, multi-platform, you can put it in there. So again, just change them. Every time you make changes on here, you need to go back to the refresh, click refresh all data, and once that's finished, click refresh all reports, and then that's it. You can then go to the dashboard and start using your file. Okay, so you've added your data, you've set up your products, and this is where these types and categories kind of come into their own, really. So this is where you can start looking at subsections of your report. So in this, we can see we've got 3 years worth of data in here, total sales of 61,000. If you wanted to just look at 2022, you just literally click on 2022 and you've seen it's just updated everything on here. Your sales have now changed and all of these information has changed as well. If you wanted to look to kind of go back to all years, you just click the cancel button up there. If you wanted to just look at what you've sold to the United States, you'd click United States in there. You see that the country is now only showing United States, but you've still got the breakdown by category. And then over here you see the top 10 product sales. So this dashboard will be slightly different depending on if you're using this one, which is the UK one, the US, Canadian, or any of the other versions. So some of this information down here might be slightly different, but they'll all work exactly the same way. If you wanted to look at all countries, but just digital download products, you click that there, and you can now see your top 10 sales of just digital download. You might say, oh, okay, what am I selling to Canada? You would click in there. And now you can see you're only looking at digital downloads, you're only looking at Canada, and those are the top 10 products that you've sold. And that's pretty much everything that you've sold. And you can see your split by year. Over here, you've got a sales split by months. You can see which months you sell most in. And again, this will vary depending on your shop. The other thing you can do, if I just put that back to all products, let's look at all products here. You can also just look at a particular month. So if you're looking at your ramp up for Christmas, for example, you might say, okay, what do I start selling most of in October? And you start seeing which products are selling most in October. And so that will kind of give you a breakdown. So that's the dashboard. This is just like your overview of kind of what's going on in your business. The next page gives you a lot more detail of those product sales. So this literally goes month by month, everything you've sold, how many orders you've sold, and what your average order value is. And these filters work in exactly the same way as on the first sheet. So if you just want to look at 2022, you can see these are now your sales just for 2022, and your dates have changed up here. Again, you could look at a particular country, you could look at a particular category. So if you wanted to just look at, again, let's look at digital downloads. So now it's only showing those products. The little chart here shows you which month you sell the most of. So you can see down here, this spreadsheet sells most at the end of the year. These two sell most at the start of the year. And then over here, you've got the sales split, so you can see which products make up the bulk of your sales. So if we just look at the other 3 reports that are included in this version, you've got a sales by country, so you can see exactly where you're selling to and what products you're selling to. So again, you can filter. If I just wanted to look at Instagram products, you see most of those go to Canada. If I wanted to look, maybe my sales kind of move has changed over the years, so I could just look at 2020 and then 2021 and 2022, and you see the numbers change. This one, because it's made for UK sellers, has a UK sales report. So this literally shows all of the products kind of by shipping city in this case. Unfortunately, we can't do regions and counties on the UK one, but you can click if you wanted to see where you sell kind of what products to. You can just click and expand and see where your products go to. And again, you've got the category, year, and type that you can filter on. And then the final report just gives you information on your repeat customers. So you can see how much of your sales come from repeat orders and how much from just one-off sales to new customers. And that's it. That's the sales dashboard, especially set up for Etsy sellers based in the UK. So like I say, if you want a more in-depth tutorial, there'll be 2 videos included with the dashboard. One to show you how to kind of download your data from Etsy and add it into the file, and then use the product setup sheet to get it all set up properly. And then the second video will literally walk you through each of the reports so that you can see in more detail exactly what it shows you. Hope you found that useful, and see you next time.